And so taking that heart charm as my obvious center, that is where you're just going to pull your beads up and then grab your tape measure. And then I'm just going to measure from this bottom red bead, which is the pattern on this side. And basically what I did was I just put my tape measure at the end of that first red bead, and I just ran it all the way up to where I got to the 8, because 8 and 8 is 16, and I cut it just about a 1/4 inch below the 8. And the reason I did that is because I know that by the time I add my jump ring and my toggle, see, if you put your toggle down next to your tape measure, that is almost 3/4 inches, just my toggle. So if you want exact measurements, that's how you do it. So I measured there and I cut my chain at 7.75 approximately. Okay, and all I've done on this side is we're about to repeat it over here. Added my jump ring, crimped it off, added the jump ring and the 4mm, the wire guarding the 4mm jump ring, and then added my chain. And so this is actually ready to get finished off. So moving on, and now we will finish up the other side. What we can do is we can actually add our toggle and finish the side up. And it doesn't matter what order you do it in, but I just thought I'll do one side at a time. So I'm just gonna grab one of my 4mm jump rings here, and I'll open that up. And I will feed the last link of my chain on that jump ring, and feed my toggle on that jump ring, and it's going to be really tight, but we're going to make it with the 4mm with that 4mm jump ring. And we're just going to have to grab this at a kind of a odd angle here, and we're just going to close that up and kind of wiggle it back and forth, squeezing it together to where it's nice and closed here, so that we don't want our chain to fall off. Okay, excellent. Okay, and so now we have one side finished with the toggle. Let me pull that up for you. Okay, and so one side is finished. So now what we're going to do to add the connector, we will first add the connector, and then we will add the chain and do the cutting. So first I want the connector to be right here. So what I'm going to do is first add on my crimp and let that fall. And I will now add on my wire guardian. No, we don't. We need 2. I don't know what I was thinking. We're going to be attaching the other part of this connector with a jump ring. Sorry, we do not need 3. We need 2. 2 wire guardians, like I had out. Okay, and so what you do is then you take your tail, and I'm just going to add that circle, and just be mindful of whichever way you want your connector to face. I want mine to face outward, and so I'm just going to feed that up and over around to the wire guardian here. And if you're not familiar how to use wire guardians, I'll put a link in the description box. I have a really great video up about how to use a wire guardian, so I will put that in the link. So I'm fed my tail now back through. I'm going to squeeze the wire guardian together. I fed it through my crimp, and now I'm going to take that tail, and again, I'm going to make sure that my beads are rounded so we have some movement. I'm just going to keep pulling that tail. Okay, now you do want to make sure, especially if you're using crystals or glass like I am, these are all glass beads, you want to have some movement and fluidity in your beads. So don't, have it laid out like this when you're doing that last step I just showed you there, on the, not the last step, but that step I was just showing with pulling it down. You do want to make sure you have some movement. So I do tend to try to make sure that I've got them kind of in a bit of circular here. And then we just need to leave a little bit of space at the top between our wire guardian and that crimp. We just need a little bit of space where we're crimping it, because we do want to put a crimp cover on there. So I don't want to pull it too tight. So I think I'm going to leave it about right there, and then we're going to go ahead and crimp it. Okay, so let me grab my chain nose here, and we can crimp that off. I'm trying to hold like 3 things. Sorry, I'm in a very weird position here. Okay, very good. Now we'll get rid of that tail and just go in there with your flush cutters. And so you see how I have a little bit of space? I want that because I want to have movement in my beads. So there is a little space, and that would be normal. You want that. And let's put this crimp cover over my crimp. So we'll get that all tucked in and looking nice and professional. And I'm going to grab my chain nose now and just close that crimp cover. And just kind of going back and forth until it's nice and closed. And that's what you have. Okay, can you guys see that? So we've got our wire guardian here with the crimp bead, crimp cover, and our connector is attached, and that is not going anywhere, so that's nice and secure. And so we do not need that and that anymore. Now we're going to grab our tape measure. And so we now have this clasp on. And so let's see here. Let me get it kind of laid in a weird way here. And so what we're going to do again is the same thing. So I'm going to go from the bottom of this crystal, because the heart is obviously our center, right? The heart charm. So we want to kind of land at 8. And we don't have to worry about measuring from this connector. We need to worry about measuring from the bottom bead, because we want the full necklace to be around a choker, 16. And if it goes to 16.5, that's fine. So I am going to take my 0 here, and then I'm going to lay my tape measure down. And let me grab a piece of chain and see. This one might even be cut so close that if that, boy, that would be awesome if I don't even have to cut it. I pulled a bunch of pre-cut chain out of my stash. Wouldn't that be coincidental? If it's exactly at 8, because that's about what I need. So again, I'm kind of trying to just lay this straight. I've got my tape measure at the bottom of this clear bead, and putting my chain directly on that link connector, because we're only using a small 4mm jump ring. I am literally at just shy below 8, which is fine. I don't even have to cut my chain. But if you did, you would just take and cut your chain at the 8 there, or whatever length you want. So don't measure from the top of the connector now that it's attached. You want to measure from the center of your necklace. Okay, makes sense, right? So now all we have to do is, thankfully, not cut chain. That's so cool. I don't think that has ever happened to me. Let me just get a 4mm jump ring here. We're going to go ahead and open that up. And we are going to feed this on our chain, and then on our little heart connector. We'll feed him on there. And then let's go ahead and close that back up. Again, you just want to wiggle and press towards the center when you're closing your jump rings. And let me just get that out of the way. And let's see, we did need that and that. And now we just need to add a little jump ring and our toggle part of the other side of the clasp. Really simple. Pretty easy and simple, I feel, right? I mean, didn't even take us 30 minutes to do a cool little Valentine necklace. You know, I mean, I did string it. I strung my, beads, but again, it didn't take me a minute, or two to do that. And I finished up this other side off camera, which again took me, less than 5 minutes to do all of that. So you can literally make this necklace. It's so beginner friendly, you guys, and it's so simple. You can do this necklace for, I'm telling you, under 30 minutes. It does not take that long. It's so beginner friendly and it's so easy. And it turns out really cute. And so let me show you what we have here. There, I'm going to pull up each area. So all I've done is taken my chain, I've added it on a jump ring, and added my toggle. And then right here, we just added the chain and jump ring to the connector. On this side, which is where our beading wire is, we took and added our beading wire to the wire guardian and added our connector. We added the heart charm with a jump ring right on the necklace. And on this side, we added the wire guardian and the jump ring to the chain, and then finally a jump ring to the clasp. And that's it. And so we now have a darling heart Valentine inspired basic, which I'm going to call minimalist necklace. And, whether this, the wire guardian is going to make this heart want to flop in or out. Once on the body, it will lay flat. But it doesn't matter because it's double-sided. Either way, it'll lay either way just perfectly fine. And so that is our darling little choker necklace that we have with the asymmetrical design. Super cute. Super, super cute. Let me lay it out and give you guys final measurements, and then I'll put all this in the description box below the video for you all. And let's lay it out. Might be a smidge out of camera. Let's lay it out here and see our final measurement. And I will do it from the end of the toggle clasp, from end to end. So we're including the full necklace, and let's see what we wound up with. We wound up with 16 and a half. So that's really good. It's just exactly what I wanted. So it's a perfect style choker. And again, you can, that is double-sided connector, so you can wear it on the left or the right. So you can wear it on the left side. You can wear it on the right side. Either way, it's just a really darling, basic, minimalist, cute Valentine-inspired necklace. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Until next time, friends, be blessed.